Good morning. Today we are solving absolute value equations. So we're going back to when we have an equal, but we're looking at our absolute value, which is our shower door. So it says the number, or the absolute value of a number A, written as absolute value of A, is the distance between A and 0 on a number line. An absolute value equation, such as absolute value of x is equal to 4, is an equation that contains an absolute value expression. The equation absolute value of x equals 4 means that the distance between x and 0 is 4. The solutions to this, however, are 4 and negative 4 because they're the only two numbers whose distance from 0 is 4. So they're telling us that x could be 4 or it could be negative 4 because negative 4 and 4 are the same distance from 0. We like to think of our absolute value as our shower. Whatever goes in the shower comes out clean. Well, 4 could go in the shower dirty and come out clean. Or positive 4 could go in the shower and come out clean. Doesn't matter how you go into the shower, negative meaning dirty, positive meaning clean. It will always give you a positive number because distance is always a positive number. Like your shoe size is a distance. It's how long your foot is. It's going to be a positive number. Maybe you have a shoe size of 8 or 10. So know that it's always going to equal a positive, but what we put in could be positive or negative. So we need to solve. Whenever we have absolute value, we're always going to have two answers because what we could put in here, x could be a positive 15, 15 could equal 15, or x could equal a negative 15 because we put a negative 15 in the shower, it's going to come out positive or clean. And both of these numbers are 15 jumps away from 0 on a number line. Same thing with 7. What could we plug in to come out clean? Well, x could be a positive 7 or x could be a negative 7. And this one, we said our distance from 0 is always a positive number like 7 or 15, coming out clean or positive. It doesn't matter what we put in for x, we are never going to get a negative number out of the shower because absolute value is always a positive number. A distance can't be negative. So this one would be no solution. It's not possible. We can't have something go in the shower and come out dirty. It doesn't work like that. So next we have a couple more steps to do, but we're still going to think of this the same way. Whatever goes in to this absolute value right here has to equal 8. So we could put in a negative 8 or a positive 8. So whatever's inside of here has to be equal to 8 or negative 8, either one of these. So let's take a look at what's inside or underneath here. We have x minus 3. So that x minus 3 could be equal to a negative 8 or it could be equal to a positive 8. So we need to see what is x really. So we're going to solve both of these. So if I solve this, I add 3. And we get x equals negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. And same thing over here. Add 3. But this time I get 8 plus 3 is 11. So these are our two answers. If you want to double check by plugging it back in, that would be a good idea. So if we plug in a negative 5 for x, negative 5 minus 3, that will give us a negative 8. And yes, the absolute value of negative 8 would give us 8. Same thing if we plugged in our other number for x. If x is 11, x would be 11 minus 3. Well, 11 minus 3 is 8, and the absolute value of 8 does equal 8. So we know that both of these work. We can check our answer. So let's look at the next one. We know whatever goes in here has to come out clean or be 9. So we can plug in a 9 or a negative 9 into the shower to come out clean. So we need to set both of these equal to 9 and negative 9. So r minus 7 equals negative 9 and r minus 7 equals 9. I'm always going to write the negative one first because later when we get to inequalities, it will help you graph. So solve these. add 7 on both sides. Negative 9 plus 7, there's more negatives, it's a negative 2. And then here as well, add 7. 9 plus 7 gives us 16. So there are our two answers. If you want to plug them back in for R to see if they work, you can. Next, getting a little bit more complex, but same idea. Whatever's inside our absolute value has to be equal to 15. So we could put in a 15 into the shower or a negative 15. No matter which one goes inside the absolute value, it's going to come out clean or positive. So let's set both of these equal to 4x plus 1. So we have 4x plus 1 equals a negative 15, and 4x plus 1 equals a positive 15. So first get rid of your addition and subtraction. Subtract 1. So we have 4x, and these are all negatives, so it's a negative 16. And then last, the opposite of multiply by 4 is divide by 4. And negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. Second one, same thing, subtract 1. 4x equal to now 14. And now this is where we're not going to always have the nicest answers. Because if I divide by 4, 14 divided by 4 is not going to be a whole number, but that's okay. I can plug it into my calculator. 14 divided by 4 is 3.5. So it doesn't matter which one I plug in, both should equal a 15 if you plug that number in for x. Alright, I don't even need to put this down anymore because I know I'm going to set this part in the middle equal to positive 9 and negative 9. So I have 5 minus 2x equals a negative 9, and 5 minus 2x equals a positive 9, and solve both. So subtract 5 on both sides. Get rid of addition and subtraction first. Don't forget the negative with the 2. And negative 9 minus 5 is negative 14. And then last, the opposite of multiply by negative 2 is divide by negative 2. A negative divided by a negative should give us a positive. And 14 divided by 2 is 7. And the second one, same thing. Subtract 5, get rid of the 5 first. So we have negative 2x, and 9 minus 5 is 4. And then divide again both sides by negative 2. 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. Those are my two answers. Now we have a different situation. These look very similar, but this is our shower. Whatever goes in the shower has to come out clean or positive. This 3 is not in the shower. So we need to clean up the shower before we can set it equal to the negative and the positive. So we're not writing two equations right away. We need to get rid of whatever's outside of our absolute value. Reminder, these are not parentheses, they're not curved. These are straight lines, this is absolute value. So we can't distribute. We know it's multiplied though, so to get rid of that we can divide both sides by 3. And now we have the absolute value of 2x minus 2. I'm going to make these thicker so I know their absolute value. And then 18 divided by 3 should give us 6. Now that I have the shower all by itself here, I can set it equal to the positive and to the negative. Because now, inside here, this part should equal positive 6 and negative 6. So we have 2x minus 2 equals a negative 6, and 2x minus 2 equals a positive 6, setting one equal to the negative and one equal to the positive. So get rid of your addition and subtraction first. Add 2. And negative 6 plus 2, there's more negatives, should be 4 more. And then divide by 2. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. And then our last one here, add 2, same as the other side. 2x equals those 6, and divide by 2. Our answer on this side, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So this one is a little bit more complex because I like to think of this as, for example, a bathroom. If this is our shower inside our bathroom, we have to clean up the bathroom before we can even deal with a clean or a dirty shower. The last thing people want to have to clean is the shower. So leave our shower alone here. We have to clean up everything else that's on the outside. Just like order of operations, we're going to undo our addition and subtraction first. This one's multiplied, we can't get rid of that. So subtract 4.1. We have 2 absolute value of y equal to, and we're subtracting 9 minus 1 is 8. 8 minus 4 is 4, so we have 14.8. And then the opposite of multiplying by 2 is divide by 2. We have the absolute value of y equal to, well, half of 0.8 is 0.4, half of 14 is 7. So now that we have our absolute value by itself, we can set equal to the negative and to the positive. So y equals negative 7.4, and y could equal a positive 7.4. There's nothing to solve in this one because y is already by itself. This one I would like for you to try on your own, and then click play to see if you got it right. We need to clean up our bathroom before we deal with the shower. So get rid of your addition or subtraction first. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So I have 4 and the absolute value of n plus 9 equal to, and then 19 plus 5 gives us 24. And then we don't have our absolute value by itself yet, so we need to get rid of that. This is multiplied, so we're going to divide by 4. So the absolute value of n plus 9, and 24 divided by 4 is 6. This isn't our answer. Our absolute value is just by itself now, so we can write 1 equal to the negative and 1 equal to positive 6. And they're both n plus 9. So if we solve these, they're only one step. Subtract 9. And these are all negative. Same sign, add them up. So 9 plus 6 is 15, and they're all negatives. Same thing over here, subtract 9. And we have n equals, now there's more negatives, should be a negative 3. Those would be our 2 answers. Again, you can always double check and plug them back in and solve to get your answer. Now our last piece of information that we need to talk about is what if we have one that's with no solution? That means it says the absolute value of a number is never going to be negative. So think back here. Oop, too far. We could never have the absolute value equal to a negative number. If you ever come across that, you need to stop and just write that it's no solution. So here, when an absolute value expression equals a negative number, there are no solutions. So that's why it says, if possible. Solve the equation if possible. So I'm going to solve this one. We need to get our shower all by itself. So I'm going to subtract 6. And right here I have the absolute value of 3x plus 5 equal to, these are all negatives, a negative 8. So this one is no solution because it's equal to a negative. Now some of you might be thinking, well, right away it's equal to a negative. Well, we could have added 6 if this was a minus and created a positive number. So you always need to get the absolute value by itself before you write whether or not it's one solution or no solutions, if you solve it or not. So for example, this next one, it looks like it's going to be no solution, but we can't say that because we need to get the absolute value by itself. So get rid of your addition and subtraction. We have -3 and then n plus 2. There's more negatives, so it's a -3. And our absolute value is not by itself yet. This is multiplied, so we need to divide by -3. So we have n plus 2 inside the absolute value. Here now two negatives make a positive. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So it looked like no solution, but really we can solve it. We have two inequalities. N plus 2 equals a -1, and n plus 2 equals a +1. So solving these, n equals -3, and solving this one, n equals a -1. Hopefully you're able to solve that last step pretty quickly on your own. So I would like for you to try this one on your own. It looks like there's going to be an answer, but we're never sure. We need to get our absolute value by itself. So I'm going to get rid of my addition and subtraction first. Subtract 4. So we have 2, absolute value of m minus 5, equal to a -2. And then the opposite of multiply is dividing by 2. So the absolute value of m plus 5 equal to a -1. Right here, we are equal to a negative number, so this is no solution. Because the distance to 0, absolute value really means the distance to 0 can't be a negative number. So these two I would like for you to try on your own, and then go ahead and check your answers. First, I'm going to get rid of my addition and subtraction by adding 4. So I have the absolute value of x plus 3, and -1 plus 4 is 3. We have equal to a positive number, so we can solve both when x plus 3 equals a negative, a dirty shower, or when x plus 3 equals a positive number, or a clean shower. So our only step to solving these is subtract 3. So we have x equals, and these are all negatives, a -6. Or same thing here, subtract 3. X could be equal to 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. And then the very last one as well. Draw your line down, and we want to get the absolute value by itself. And we have a -1/3. I'm just going to put the negative at the top. To get rid of multiplying by a fraction, we have to multiply by the reciprocal, or flipping the fraction. So we're going to multiply by 3 over -1 times 3 over -1. So those cancel out, and we have the absolute value of 1 minus 8x. 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 divided by -1 is just -6. And right there, I know I can stop. This is a negative number, so it's really no solution. Alright, your homework is out of the book. Go ahead, you will only have to do odds on this section, but then all of these ones. And these should be a review. Good luck.